back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. And we're gonna dive right into the episode, but just quickly to say, if you hang around at the end, I am going to be talking about what I'm going to be doing over the December and Christmas period when it comes to my video schedule, lives, giveaways, Christmassy time too, and all of that. So make sure you stick around at the end. And also, I always go, character by character, as most people who watch the reviews know. But today I am going to skip around a bit because we do have pretty much all of the episode, Tina and Jenny are together, and then pretty much all of the episode 2, Alice, Tasha, Papi, and Helena are all together as well. So they're predominantly with those little groupings in each of their scenes. So it just makes sense to talk about all those characters all together. Now, if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, as you will get notifications whenever I post reviews, other L Word videos, and this is a great time to subscribe to the channel as literally today, this week, they are going back to filming season 2. So we're going to start getting a lot of news in, and anytime that I hear anything concrete, I will of course let you guys know with a video or over on social media if it's something small or something text-wise. So go over to any of my social media channels. I'm probably most active on Instagram, so that's a good one to follow me on over there. And let's get on to the review. So today we are doing the L Word, the OG L Word, season 4, episode 9, Lazy Lilting Lyrics. So starting off our episode with Jenny, and she's with Tina, and they're obviously, Tina's the producer, they're going to meet some directors for Lez Girls. And the directors that they meet are John Stockwell, Gary Marshall, and Lawrence Bender. Now, they mention a bunch of movies that each of these directors have done. John Stockwell is Into the Blue, Blue Crush, Crazy Beautiful. Gary Marshall is Princess Diaries, Pretty Woman, and you remember probably about 10 years ago, so quite soon after this, all those movies that came out that were like New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, he's responsible for all of those too. And Lawrence Bender is a longtime producer on Quentin Tarantino movies. He also did An Inconvenient Truth and Dirty Dancing. Now, all of these directors are played by themselves, which, one, it's pretty cool that they got them to do that, but two, it's pretty hilarious and also props to them, because the whole episode where Tina, I love Tina, she's great, I love the whole Tina boss babe thing, but she hasn't really killed it here because she's taking not only her supposed friend, but someone who has written a lesbian-driven movie, is new to Hollywood, that a character is actually based on Tina too, and she's brought Jenny, who has never written a screenplay in her life, and brought Jenny to basically the straightest, whitest, richest heterosexual men she knows. So, come on Tina, what are you doing? But of course, that's the joke, and so the fact that they came and played themselves is kind of like, when you see like Neil Patrick Harris and all those people that they play this like exaggerated version of themselves, and I immediately have so much more respect for someone who goes and does that, because it's like they're laughing with you and they're in on the joke and they don't take themselves too seriously. So all of these directors, and great job, the L Word always does do a great job casting wise and things, although everything has its flaws. But the one thing with the L Word is when they have to write outside of rich white lesbians that live in Los Angeles it can get difficult for them, and they don't really, I feel as though sometimes they stunt themselves by not going out and consulting with people where, you know, pretty much anyone who has anything to do with writing or even, you know, Hollywood movies and business in general could tell you the odds of Jenny being the screenwriter of her own movie are like absolutely non-existent. Like it just wouldn't happen. So, you know, hopefully Generation Q is going to right some of these wrongs, and they will go out and they will talk to people in the outside world, because they also have these things about even when they have to go outside of Los Angeles, or even when they have to deal with people who aren't like millionaires. So yeah, basically Tina was asleep at the wheel here, and I don't know what she was doing. But in the beginning, all they wanted to say was visual, visual, visual. And I mean, it was really funny. I thought that was a great thing to put throughout the episode, and to get these directors in to play themselves. It was a really good idea. And also, as I said, I think last episode and the episode before, we are truly beginning Jenny's descent into like absolute lunatic. So even though obviously Jenny is a lunatic, and you know, she gets worse and all these things, and we see Sounder 2 coming soon, but Mia Kirshner and her delivery, her execution and the lines, she's just, the way that Jenny is played, you just laugh so much. I mean, if you had to deal with her in real life, obviously it would be an absolute nightmare, but she's really, really good at getting under people's skin, especially Tina, and she just really like rips people to shreds sometimes. So I think that Mia Kirshner does a really good job playing the character, and it looks like she's had a lot of fun doing it. Next we will go on to Shane, and this is an all around just bad episode for Shane. I mean, her dad comes back and says, I've been looking for Shay, I left him with Carla, you know, she dumped him on you, I didn't abandon him, and I'm taking him back. So over the episode, you know, Shane goes through this horrible grief of having to give up Shay. And I've mentioned before, like, my brother, who's significantly younger than me, he's 15 years younger than me, I don't know what I would do. Like, I call him my son. Like, I just don't know what I would do if someone took him away from me. So I really, really empathise with Shane in this episode, and it's just horrible. And just to kind of bleed into what was going on with Max too, like obviously everyone who works in his company is an absolutely terrible person, because some of the worst things that have ever happened is through people sitting by and sitting back and just saying, well, you know, it's nothing to do with me. And all of those people in that room just proceeded to let Max's boss treat him awfully. So they're all garbage humans, basically. And then Max also gets a phone call from his sister, who, one, misgenders him, but two, is telling him that his mum died. And I mean, as I was saying before, like, my brother, the reason I looked after him is because my mum passed away when he was young, and how I found out was really suddenly out of the blue like that. And it's such a shock to your system, and so horrible, and just really made me feel for Max and Shane and even Shay throughout the whole thing. And yeah, Max's colleagues and Shane's dad, all garbage, throw the whole person away. Moving on to Kit. Kit is going deeper and deeper into a terrible time too. No one's really doing that great this episode, and Kit has started drinking. Angus is just moping around, being just awful. I honestly don't know why they dragged out the end of this relationship. I mean, no male actor character has ever lasted this long on the show, especially like a series regular. And with Angus, they should have, you know, Kit broke up with him, it was over, boom, done. and then you have, if they want to write Kit going like relapsing and all this stuff, you don't need Angus literally like floating in the corner like a ghost for this to work. And it just makes no sense. Like, Kit has Bette, who she's very close to, her sister. She has all these like really, really good friends that she considers family. They can help and support her. Poppy's like in love with her. If she needs to go to a meeting, if she needs help, anything, those people can be there to do that for her. They don't need Angus to be like there for her, even though she's upset because he is another garbage person. So it just, they should have just got rid of him. I don't know whether they like had some weird thing in his contract that they had to like physically have him in an episode, which I don't even can't imagine that ever happening, but it just made absolutely no sense. And I'm speaking for the next episode and on, that any more episodes he appears in, it's just silly. Throw him in the garbage pile with Shane's dad and Max's colleagues. So normally I would go Helena and then Alice, and then I've been talking about Tasha with Alice, and they're obviously a couple now, and I'll talk about them all together, and Papi obviously too, because all the scenes except Papi has the one with Kit, and then Alice has the one at the end with Shane, but the rest, the whole meat of the episode, the four of them are pretty much together, apart from a tiny little scene when Papi isn't there yet. So weirdly, Helena appears with a sombrero from Mallorca, which they don't wear sombreros in Mallorca. Like, it's just kind of like lumping all Spanish, Hispanic, Mexico, all everything together. Like, they're different countries and different cultures. But anyway, Alice and Tasha have obviously, they're in that obsessed with each other, goo eyes, love stuff. And so Helena comes in and they start chatting, and Helena's won 150,000 playing poker. Alice is like, show me the money, but Helena doesn't have the money and says it's cool, it's all worked out with Catherine. So Helena's continuing down in the gambling industry, we call it like degenerates, people that just like gamble all the time. And next episode we do get them at the racetrack, which I will have a lot to share then, because that's the industry I grew up in, worked in forever, and I was at the racetrack before I could even walk or talk. And my dad also, like, he's owned racehorses all my life. He's got a few now, so I can definitely give you some insights into that world. However, poker, I've said before, like, I used to work for PokerStars and loads of other gaming companies, and yeah, you can get on a hot streak, but unless even I know literally the best poker players on the planet. Like, one of my best friends dated the most famous poker player on the planet, probably the person who's made the most money from poker. The amount of people that go into poker and make money is like teeny tiny, because it's cool and everyone wants to do it, but you have to play so much and you have to initially invest so much in yourself, and it's really difficult. I mean, obviously Catherine is rich before the poker stuff, but yeah, Helena is just digging herself deeper and deeper into this hole with Catherine. And I mean, it's flashy and out there, and because it's cash, and because it's, if people do get on a hot streak like that, and they'll go and buy something insane and not think the rest of it through. Like, say you go and buy a Lamborghini or something because you've had this insane hot streak and won, then people forget about taxing it and insuring it and road tax, and oh, guess what? Like, the upkeep of a Lamborghini is hella expensive. So I mean, that goes with any sort of big winning, like people who win the lottery and stuff in America, because it's you get taxed. And yeah, just as someone who has been in the gambling and gaming industry since before I could walk or talk, and I've worked in it forever until a month ago. Stay away, guys. Only do it recreationally with what you can afford to lose, like what you would be okay spending going to the cinema or something. Don't put your life savings on anything, like we're going to see next episode. Anyway, back to the R word. So throughout the episode, when they're having all these scenes in Alice's room and chatting and things, it just reminded me so much of my friends and or like boarding school, because we all used to like push our beds together and things, and then just, you know, when you go out and you stay the night at your friends, and I love that, all those scenes, and they're just like chatting and hanging out and having fun, and I love it. And then, oh my god, Leonard Kroll's like that text that Alice sent to Bette was just chef's kiss. Like, it was so amazing. And when Leonard Kroll gets there, Alice goes in to get a Free City robe, which I can't even imagine how much that cost, because like I have a few t-shirts, sweatpants and sweatshirts, and they are insanely pricey. So I'm sure the robe was something like $1,000. But Alice and Helena and Tasha and Papi are just kind of captured by Leonard Kroll and having to listen to him go on, and there was a tiny bit of me that felt sorry for him. But then when Phyllis eventually gets there, because obviously Bette tells her, and he says, well, what are they doing that's more important than helping me out? And it's like, oh yes, I forgot. When a rich, white, straight man is in need, every woman, child, every race, every sexuality, everyone should just bow down and help the straight white man fix his problem. Because isn't that what we're all here for, as supporting staff to the rich, white, hetero, cis man? Next up, I would say Tina, but pretty much all of Tina's scenes are with Jenny. The only thing I'll add is I loved Tina's suit throughout this episode. Everyone exactly like it, and a very, very similar necklace. And I loved her sunglasses. And my probably favorite Tina and Jenny moment from this episode was when they were with Gary Marshall and they were arguing about the Bev and Nina characters, and Gary Marshall's just kind of like sitting there, and Jenny and Tina are having like this whisper aggressive argument about how Nina really felt, and Jenny is like obviously telling Tina like the opposite of what Tina was feeling, and it's just really funny. I also thought it was really funny when they're meeting the last director, Lawrence Bender, and he was saying, oh yeah, the lesbian movie, we've all seen it a million times, and Jenny was like, I don't think it's been done a million times. And it's a very similar thing that even goes on now, you know. People, when Generation Q was announced that it was coming back, people were like, oh, we already had the L word, and it was like, you've already had your show, like, you know, everyone must see themselves in this one show. And it's like every other, you know, straight man can look at any movie, any TV shows, and there's like this huge wealth of characters. And I mean, there's millions of characters that straight people can look at, straight couples, like even looking at like the teenage romance stuff. There's Twilight, there's Harry Potter, there's Hunger Games, Percy Jackson, all these things, and then we get one show and like one movie, Carol. Obviously that's starting to be not true. I mean, we got a Christmas movie this year, so check out the review if you haven't yet. I'll link it in the cards above, of Happiest Season. But it's just a medium that obviously we need more representation, exposure, and it's very, very slowly happening, but it just needs to keep going, because it's the exact same thing in trans representation, in black representation. You need to be able to look at screen and see someone like you in your story being represented. and people, even something as minuscule as like the Disney princesses, there needs to be more than just one character for each person. Like, not everyone is going to look at the L Word and see their stories, their representation. So the more mediums and the more movies, films, books, everything, even advertisements on TV, it's all for the better. And last but certainly not least is onto Bette. And I'm going to say Bette and Jodi, even though that kills me a tiny little bit. But most, I think pretty much all Bette scenes were with Jodi this episode, and Jodi is going through this whole, she was seeing Amy, we see at the beginning of the episode, Jodi and Amy like, you know, kind of PDA in the car park, and Bette being Bette, she can't just, you know, wave and smile or go inside. She has to go over and be hella petty, but I cannot sit here and say I wouldn't do the exact same thing. This episode, there's so many things Bette did, like even when they were walking away afterwards and Bette was being like really, like if anybody listened to their conversation, she wasn't being like rude, but she was being like very sure and just breezy. I do not, I would have done the exact same thing. So yeah. The one thing about Bette and Jodi is, like, obviously I say pretty much every video, Jennifer Beals is an amazing actress and Marlee Matlin is an amazing actress too, and they've known each other in real life forever, since the 80s at least. And I think that when they're having like the argument scenes, which pretty much is all the scenes, they are really good that way, like they bounce off each other. But I think I said this, I think my last video, but anything beyond that, especially like their scenes, like kissing, anything, I feel like it's so forced. I never really thought they would work. They're both type A, and you know, they are both very strong people, but the one really good thing about Jodi is she absolutely does not let Bette away with anything at all. Yeah, she calls her on her shit for sure. And then towards the end we do get the mention of the sign, the 17 Reasons Why sign, and we know what happens with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that in a few episodes. And then also Bette does say at the end that she really wants to organise a dinner party. And as we all know, dinner parties in the L Word always go so smoothly and easily, and there's never any issues whatsoever. So really looking forward to seeing those scenes as well. One thing I didn't really mention was the fact that Marina is in the cold open, and then at the very end, the musical Lez Girls thing, and just I just thought that was so random and weird, and even more so because I mean it's always nice to have like an actress from, you know, the beginning of the show come back, don't get me wrong, but Karina Lombard was so harsh about the show and about the other actresses. Like, she said some really, you know, mean stuff that, and it didn't really sit well with me either as a gay viewer of the show, that she was saying, oh yeah, I used to think I was bisexual, but then I went and was cast in the show with all these women and I realized how awful all these women were. So I don't think she'd said quite that yet, but I just, if it was so awful and all these things, why did you come back? I mean, obviously they offered her money, like that has to be it, because she's been so vocal about hating the show, hating the other actresses, and obviously she wasn't in a scene with Jennifer Beals, who the two of them were always rumoured to be not on the best of terms. So it just was weird. I don't think it was necessary to move the plot forward, because okay, we saw, you know, she was in this episode for what, 3 minutes, and that's it. And that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. Overall, I mean, it was an okay episode. It was filler. It wasn't, one that I'll watch over and over again. Honestly, I probably would have skipped it if I wasn't doing the reviews. But I did really like the Tina and Jenny scenes. I really did like the Tasha, Alice, Helena, and Papi scenes. But the rest, I want to move forward and get towards the end of the season when, things start to line up a bit better. And we do only have 3 episodes left until the end of season 4. So things are getting a little bit more interesting. I know a lot of people aren't keen on the whole Lez Girls film within the show, but I actually really enjoyed that aspect when I first watched it, and I still enjoy it now. I thought it was a really cool thing to do. I thought it was kind of clever, and I liked it. I know some people aren't keen on it, so I do like when they start referencing it a little bit more, and then obviously when they're filming and doing all these things in most of the episodes, so I'm looking forward to that too. So as I was saying at the beginning of the video, I am going to, in December, be doing Vlogmas, which I've never done before, and I know I'm not really a vlogging channel, but someone was saying to me in my live chat on Saturday that it could be a little bit like an L-word advent calendar. So I'm going to try and do something bringing in the L-word, and then I will also do a giveaway for Christmas. So make sure to watch the Vlogmas episodes, and I'll do something similar that, if you like and comment on the video and you're a subscriber, then you can be entered into the draw for Vlogmas. I'll probably do something, like an L-word mug and some champagne or something like that, something fun for Christmas. So make sure to look out for that. And if you didn't know, I, for the last 2 weeks, have been doing lives. So this week it will be on Friday, the 4th of December at 7 p.m. UK time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I also definitely on Sunday, the 20th of December, I will go live. That's actually my birthday, so I would love to be on the channel and hang out with you guys for a little bit, because during the day, obviously, my friends and family, and then at night, I'll be going out to dinner. So maybe that day I'll do it at 6 p.m. UK time, which would be 1 p.m. Eastern time and 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that's Sunday the 20th will be a special one, but I'll still do it on Friday that week as well. And as always, guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, as it's a really good time to get yourself notifications on the channel when I release videos, because as I said at the beginning, we are now entering filming for season 2 of Generation Q, so there's going to be lots of news and updates coming your way soon. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a little thumbs up, as it really helps out the channel. And also comment down below if you have any thoughts, questions, or want to just let me know what your opinion on the episode was. And lastly, don't forget to follow me on social media to keep up with everything L-word related in between videos. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and thank you everyone who's been coming to my lives. I really enjoy doing it so much, and I'm just so grateful that you guys give up your time and come and chat to me. So thank you so much for that. Make sure that you guys are staying safe during this Christmas period, and I hope that everybody is getting their shopping done and getting everything they want for Christmas. So make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye!